When you upset me, I disappear. I ignore your calls, your texts, your tears. That is the silent treatment. You will do anything to get me to talk again. Here is how I use silence as my favorite weapon. I sit across from you at the dinner table, watching the candlelight flicker in your eyes. But I am not looking at you. I am looking through you. You just asked me a simple question about where I was last night, and in that moment, the air in the room changed. I felt that familiar, cold prickle of irritation. How dare you question my autonomy? How dare you imply that I owe you an explanation? I do not raise my voice. I do not slam my fist. I simply stop. I retract my presence like a shadow retreating from the sun. I pick up my fork, move a piece of steak around the plate, and let the silence grow. It starts as a thin veil, but I will weave it into a brick wall before the night is over. You try to laugh it off at first. You ask if I heard you. I say nothing. I do not even blink. I am a statue of ice, and I can feel your heart rate beginning to climb from across the table. This is my favorite part. The power isn't in the words I say. It is in the vast, suffocating vacuum of the words I withhold. You are starving for a connection, a sign, a spark of life, and I am the only one who can feed you. By refusing to speak, I become the center of your entire universe. I watch you scramble. You start apologizing for things you did not even do. You offer me more wine. You try to tell a joke. Every word you utter is a tribute to my superiority. I feel a rush of warmth in my chest, that vital energy I need to keep the fragile parts of me from crumbling. As long as you are begging for my attention, I am the one in control. I am the god of this room, and your desperation is my sustenance. By the time we go to bed, the silence is heavy enough to crush you. I lie there, staring at the ceiling, perfectly still, while you sob quietly on your side of the mattress. You reach out to touch my shoulder, and I flinch as if your hand is a poison. I want you to feel that rejection in your marrow. I want you to believe that you are so insignificant, so fundamentally flawed, that you have lost the right to be heard. I am training you. I am conditioning you to never, ever question me again. If you want the soulmate I pretended to be during those first 3 months, you have to earn him back through total submission. The next morning, I get up and make coffee as if you do not exist. I walk past you in the hallway, my shoulder brushing yours, but my gaze remains fixed on the wall. You are a ghost in your own home. You follow me into the kitchen, your eyes red and swollen. You ask me, please, just tell me what I did wrong. I let out a long, theatrical sigh. I look at you with a mask of pure, unadulterated contempt. If you do not know, I say, my voice dripping with ice, then there is no point in us even speaking. I leave for work, knowing that for the next 8 hours, you will not be able to focus on anything else. You will check your phone every 30 seconds. You will draft long, rambling texts that I will read and leave unseen. I am the architect of your ant, and the best part is, I have convinced you that you built the walls yourself. You think if you just find the right words, if you just become better, I will come back to you. But I am not gone. I am right here, watching you fall apart, enjoying the view from the throne you built for me. This is how I regulate the shame I feel inside. When I feel small, I make you feel microscopic. When I feel like a fraud, I make you doubt your own sanity. I project my own onto you until you are the one carrying the weight of it. I use the nice, nasty split to keep you off balance. One day, I am the man of your dreams, promising you a beautiful future, and the next, I am a stranger who would not help you if you were passing away in front of me. It is a game of high stakes, and I always hold the deck. But here's the secret I will never tell you while I am in the room. This silence? It isn't strength, it is a shield. I am terrified of you. I am terrified that if I actually engage with you, you will see the holes in my armor. You will see that behind this mask of cold indifference, there is nothing but a hollow, screaming void. I need your reaction because without it, I do not exist. If you stopped crying, if you stopped begging, if you simply walked away and went about your day as if my silence meant nothing, I would be the one ruined. That is the one thing that terrifies a narcissist: indifference. The silent treatment is a tactic of destabilization designed to create a trauma bond. It is a form of psychological jump that triggers the same parts of the brain as physical pain. When I withdraw, I am attempting to force you into a state of infantile dependence, where you feel like a child being ignored by a parent. It is meant to make you compliant. But this tactic has a fatal weakness. It only works if I can see that it is hurting you. If you are dealing with this, you must understand the clinical reality. I am not brooding or processing. I am punishing you for having boundaries. To break this cycle, you must employ radical acceptance. You have to accept that the person who love-bombed you at the start, the one who called you their soulmate, was a character in a play. That person does not exist. The person sitting in silence, enjoying your pain, is the reality. When the silence starts, use the gray rock method. Do not defend yourself. Do not engage in the argument. Do not explain your point of view, and most importantly, do not personalize the attack. You are not being ignored because you are unlovable. You are being ignored because I am incapable of healthy conflict resolution. Make yourself as uninteresting as a gray rock. If I see that my silence does not move you, if you go out with friends, read a book, or hum a tune while I am trying to the atmosphere, my power evaporates. You must put yourself on an information diet. Stop sharing your fears and your dreams with me, because I will only use them as ammunition later. Document everything. Write down the dates and the times I disappear, so that when I try to gaslight you later and say I was never angry, you have a record of the truth. The only way to truly win this game is to stop playing it. The most effective countermove to the silent treatment is to make the silence permanent. Go no contact. Block the phone numbers, the social media, and the mutual friends I use for triangulation. Seek trauma-informed therapy to heal the bond I have spent months or years building. You are not an extension of me. You are a whole, autonomous person, and you deserve a voice that is heard, not a silence that is weaponized. I thought I won because I could make you beg. But the moment you realize that my silence is a gift, a break from my toxicity, is the moment I lose everything. To ensure you stay protected, remember the DEEP technique. Never defend, engage, explain, or personalize. Your strength lies in your ability to remain neutral. When I stop speaking, do not see a closed door. See a chance to walk away without a word being said. You do not need my validation to exist. You do not need my permission to be happy. The silence I project is a vacuum. It is designed to be filled by your anxiety. Think about the last time I did this during a holiday. We were supposed to go to your family house. I found a reason to be offended by something you said about the car keys. Just like that, I retreated. I sat on the sofa, staring at the television, but I was not watching the show. I was watching you. I watched you get dressed in your nice clothes, then slowly start to take them off as the minutes ticked by. I watched the hope drain from your face. Every time you asked if we were still going, I simply stared through you. That silence cost you a day with the people you love. That is the point. I want to isolate you until I am the only voice you hear, even when I am not saying anything at all. I remember a Saturday morning when the sun was hitting the floorboards. You had made breakfast, trying so hard to please me, and I just pushed the plate away. I felt a surge of because I saw how much you cared. Your care makes me feel like I am failing because I do not know how to care back. So I went silent for 3 days. I watched you pace the living room. I watched you call your mother and whisper in the bathroom. I felt like a king. But that king lives in a wasteland. I knew you were crying. I could hear you through the bedroom door. A normal person would feel a pang of guilt, a desire to comfort the person they claim to love. But I felt a cold, jagged satisfaction. Your tears meant I was still relevant. Your pain meant I was still the center of your world. If you are listening to this, I want you to look at your life and ask yourself, when was the last time you felt safe expressing a boundary? If the answer is never, then you are being oppressed by a silence that is not your own. You are stronger than the vacuum I try to create. You are more than the reaction I am trying to pull out of you. I see you now. I see the way you look at the door. I see the way you are starting to realize that the silence is actually peaceful when I am not there to fill it with my hostility. That is the beginning of your journey back to yourself. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are being systematically diminished, and it is time to stop. Think about the mechanism of the intermittent reinforcement. I gave you just enough love in the beginning to make you addicted. Now I am withholding the reward to make you work harder for it. It is the same logic as a slot machine. You keep pulling the lever, hoping the nice version of me will reappear. But that version was a lure. It was a mask I wore to trap you. The real me is this cold, silent person who treats your heart like a footstool. When I go silent, I am actually giving you a map of my insecurities. I only go silent when I feel challenged or when I feel like you are seeing the real, fragile person behind the curtain. The silence is my panic room. I hide in there and wait for you to give up your reality and accept mine. But what happens if you do not knock on the door? What happens if you walk out of the house and go enjoy the sunshine? I will tell you what happens. I will feel a terror so deep it borders on failing. I will realize that I have no power over you, and that when I will try to hoover you back in, I will suddenly become the most charming, talkative, and apologetic person you have ever met. Do not believe it. It is just another tactic to reset the cycle. My world is built on shadows. If I let you speak, if I listen to your valid criticisms, I have to acknowledge that I am not perfect. That thought is harmful to me. It is a psychological destruction of the identity I have spent years constructing. So I choose to suffocate your voice instead. I choose to let you drown in the quiet while I stay safe on the shore of my own ego. I am a master of the waiter rule, charming to the world, but a monster to the one who knows me best. I remember how I used to watch you sleep. In the beginning, it was with a sense of triumph. I had won you. Now I watch you sleep, and I feel a cold detachment. You are just an object to be moved around. If I move you into the silent square, you stay there until I decide otherwise. I want you to feel that you have no rights, no agency, and no escape. I want you to believe that the silence is the only truth left. But you have to see the pattern. It is the same every time. You say something honest, I feel small, and I shut down. This is not a mature response. It is the temper tantrum of a person who never learned how to exist in a world where they are not the sun. You are orbit around me because I told you that you were special. But special only means useful to me. The second you stop being useful, the second you start having your own needs, I turn off the lights. You are worth more than a life spent in the dark. You are more than a target for my projections. I am the one with the problem, not you. I am the one who cannot communicate, not you. I am the one who is inside, not you. Do not let me bury you with me. The mechanics of my silence are designed to make you question your own memory. If I do not speak, I do not have to admit to anything. If I ignore your plea for clarity, I leave you to wander in a maze of your own making. You begin to wonder if you were too loud, too demanding, or too sensitive. You start to edit yourself. You stop asking questions. You stop sharing your day. You become a shell, and in that emptiness, I find my comfort. I want a partner who is a mirror, not a person. A mirror does not speak. It only reflects back what I want to see. When you try to be a person, I punish you with the void. I watch you look at your phone, hoping for a notification that will never come. I see the way your hand trembles when you set it back down. I know you are checking my social media to see if I am active, to see if I am talking to anyone else while I refuse to talk to you. I do this on purpose. I might even like a few photos or post a cryptic update just to show you that I am perfectly capable of communication, just not with you. This is triangulation with the entire world. I am showing you that everyone else is worth my time, but you have been discarded. This cycle is of 1,000 cuts. Every time I go silent, a little piece of your trust in humanity withers away. You start to expect the hammer to drop even when things are going well. You live in a state of hypervigilance, scanning my face for the slightest sign of a coming storm. This is exactly where I want you. A person in survival mode is a person who is easy to lead. I have turned your home into a prison where the bars are made of unsaid words. When the silence stretches into days, I see you start to lose your grip on your own joy. You stop listening to music. You walk softly, trying not to disturb the heavy air. I see you making my favorite meals, putting them in front of me with a hopeful look, and I just push them aside. I am teaching you that your efforts mean nothing unless I say they do. I am breaking your spirit, one quiet hour at a time. And the most part is that I tell myself I am the victim. I tell myself that you pushed me to this. I tell myself that if you were just a better partner, I would not have to go away. I use this silence to erase your past. By refusing to acknowledge our history or our conversations, I make it so they never happened. If I do not talk about the promises I made, then those promises do not exist. I am the revisionist historian of our relationship. I rewrite our story every time I close my mouth. I make you the villain and myself the misunderstood martyr. I want you to believe that you are lucky I am still in the room at all. But I am terrified that you will realize the door is unlocked. I am terrified that you will find a friend who tells you that this is not normal. I am terrified that you will read a book or watch a video that gives a name to what I am doing to you. Because once you have the language for my malice, I can no longer hide behind my excuses. Once you see the silent treatment as the childish manipulation it is, I look pathetic rather than powerful. And I cannot survive being seen as pathetic. My entire existence is a defense against being seen as small. That is why I have to make you feel tiny. That is why I have to keep you in the quiet. Think about the physical toll this takes on you. The tightness in your chest, the headaches, the way you cannot sleep because your mind is racing, trying to solve a puzzle that has no solution. I am stealing your health. I am consuming your vitality to fuel my own ego. I am a parasite that feeds on the sound of your internal screaming. I know that if I keep this up long enough, you will eventually break. You will have a breakdown, or you will scream at me, and then I can point the finger and say, "See, you are the unstable one. You are the one who needs help." This is the ultimate goal. To make your reaction the only thing anyone ever sees, while my provocation remains invisible and silent. Every moment I spend ignoring you is a moment I spend reinforcing my own sense of control. If I can control the air you breathe, the thoughts you think, and the words you say, then I don't have to face the fact that I am fundamentally broken. My silence is a blanket I use to smother the truth. I don't want to hear about how I hurt you because that would mean I have to feel guilt. And I have replaced guilt with entitlement a long time ago. I feel entitled to your peace. I feel entitled to your time. I feel entitled to your sanity. You have to understand that I am playing a game where the rules change every hour. One day, the silence is because you didn't check on me. The next day, the silence is because you checked on me too much. There is no winning. There is only the slow erosion of your personality until you are just a tool I use to feel superior. I will use the nice nasty split to keep you guessing. Just when you think you've figured out how to make me talk, I will change the lock. But the silence is also where I store my fear. I am afraid that one day I will look at you and you won't be looking back at me with tears in your eyes. You will be looking at me with nothing. No love, no hate, just nothing. That is the day I lose. That is the day I am truly discarded. Because a person like me cannot exist without someone to harm psychologically. I need your heart to stay alive. I am a ghost that needs your blood to feel warm. I remember the first time I realized you were becoming immune. I walked into the room, ready to deliver a week of silence, and you didn't even look up from your book. You didn't ask me where I had been. You didn't offer to make me coffee. You just existed, without me. It was the most feeling I have ever had. I had to leave the house because the silence you were giving back to me was louder than the one I was giving to you. It was a mirror, and I hated what I saw. That is why you must understand that the silent treatment is actually a confession. I am confessing that I have no other way to handle you. I am confessing that your voice is so powerful that I have to try and suffocate. I am confessing that I am a coward. If this story sounded familiar to you, if you felt that cold dread while listening, please know you are not alone. Dealing with someone who uses silence as a weapon is exhausting, but you have the power to take that weapon away. You have to realize that you are not responsible for my moods. You are not a therapist, and you are not a punching bag. You are a human being with a right to be treated with dignity and respect. If this insight helped you see the truth today, please subscribe and like the video. It helps us reach more people who might be trapped in this same quiet mare. My best advice to you, as a friend who wants to see you thrive, is to trust your gut. If it feels like you are walking on eggshells, it is because you are. You do not have to live in fear of a closed mouth. You deserve a partner who speaks with kindness and listens with empathy. Stay strong, stay firm in your boundaries, and remember that your peace is worth more than their approval. You are capable of building a life full of noise, laughter, and real connection. Do not let their silence define your worth. Reconnect with the friends I tried to make you lose. Talk to the family members I made you feel ashamed to call. The more you build your own world, the less power I have in mine. I want you to take a deep breath and realize that the quiet you are hearing right now doesn't have to be scary. It can be the sound of your own freedom. It can be the space where you finally start to hear your own voice again, the one I tried so hard to drown out. We will be here in the next video to help you navigate the next step of your recovery. Keep going. You are doing great. Your life is waiting for you, and it is louder and brighter than any wall of silence I could ever build. The silence is over when you decide it is. Not when I decide to speak, but when you decide that my voice no longer matters. That is the ultimate solution. That is how you win. You walk out into the noise, and you never look back at the quiet house I tried to keep you in. You are free, you are alive, and you are heard. Keep your head up. You have survived the silence, and now it is time to live. If you are ready to take your life back, leave a comment below with the word freedom. Let us support each other in breaking the chains of these silent battles. You are not alone, and your voice is your greatest strength. See you in the next one. Stay safe and stay strong.